how much spin is that? So I've got the recent released T24 wedge from Mizuno, and what we thought would be a good thing to do is to give a comparison in performance and spin between this and the what is perceived as market leading SM9 Vokey. So both 56 degrees, got the D grind in the T24 and the M grind in the 56 in the SM9. So you can see the sole profiles are very similar. Whilst the number on the bottom is slightly different, the actual bounce amounts and the sole shapes are the same. Going to use the same shaft in both, swing weights within half a point, and get a few shots of each. Look at the spin performances, particularly where all the wedge brands are saying how much spin they can generate, but actually relative to the SM9, where does the Mizuno sit? So I'm going to hit 2 or 3 shots with each, and then literally look at the spin numbers, look at the launch angles, and see how they compare. Really kind of playing kind of half shots around a sort of 75 and 80 yard shot for me with this wedge, and we'll see where they get to. So, the Titleist, a very classic shape, really been perceived as market leader for a number of years. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they compare overall. Using Pro V1, which is my gamer ball on the course. So that's going to be consistent between the 2 wedges as well. Okay, so that's 3 with the Titleist. Now I'm going to switch it over to the Mizuno wedge. So one of the standout points of the Mizuno wedge is it is a forged head, whereas most of the other wedges are, or have been historically cast. The Titleist is a cast head. They do a forged model in Asia. There are forged models from Callaway and TaylorMade as well. It's a slightly tighter head shape on the Mizuno to the Titleist as well. Let's switch this over on the TrackMan. I think that's something Mizuno have always been quite, they've had a bit of a, not quite signature, but it's a slightly smaller, neater head shape than other brands, a little bit tighter around the toe line, which I quite like personally. Okay, so what's interesting is sort of looking at where that's hitting the screen, we'll see when we get to the data, that that does appear to be a little bit of a lower launch. Definitely a little bit of a softer feel, which you'd expect being a forged head to a cast. It's marginal, but a little bit of difference there. Okay, so that's 3 with each. And what we'll do now is I'll compare the averages from a spin point of view. So from a data point of view, what we can see between the 2 heads, club head speed within half a mile an hour, ball speed within half a mile an hour. There's best part of a 2 degree lower launch out of the Mizuno head. And what isn't surprising based on that, I mean, that would, to me, would suggest more grip on the face. But we're also getting 400 revs more spin. So whilst it's a lower launch, we're getting more spin. So spin relative to the degree of launch is higher. And ultimately, that's what every wedge player on tour is looking for, low launch and maximum spin. So what we're seeing between the 2 heads is both very consistent spin. There's only a 300 and 330 revolution tolerance on spin between each head, the Mizuno being a little bit tighter. But it is coming out a little bit lower, so well, a little bit, quite a bit lower, almost 10% lower launch, but giving us 400 revs more spin. So actually from a flight performance point of view, the Mizuno head's given me that lower launch, higher spin, which means 1 hop forward and then a little bit of a quicker stop. But also from a flighting point of view, it's not ballooning up, it's not getting up too quickly off the face. So for everything we'd look for from a wedge, for me, for those 6 shots with each that we got on the data there, really very strong performance out of the Mizunos. This is something we'd already experienced a bit with them, but that as a contrast with the market leader, that's a really strong profile. So for anyone looking for keeping launch angle down, maximizing spin, those T24s are a great option.